Ready.
I just want to sing now. Hello, good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. My name's Dom. That guy's name is Huddie. And we're here to talk a little bit of small cap stocks in the gappers world, which we have a few today. So we got to get going. We got to get rocking. Got to get rolling. I want to ask that you guys hit that subscribe button right here, right off the bat. We talked about it last night on Wine Wednesday. We'd like to do something fun at 6,000 subscribers. So we got about 670 of you that need to click it. So might as well just go ahead and be part of that group, and we'll do something real fun, some sort of giveaway. So if you're here every morning, if you're watching the videos, watching the long form content, consider subscribing. But where there is no leeway is that you hit that thumbs up button. You hit it right now. You get that number up towards 50, and we have just a phenomenal show, a phenomenal day of education and entertainment. We got 4 or 5 gappers right now. The market is moving. We got stocks all over the place. I could sit here and tell you, sit back, get in where you fit in, make some memories. But you guys already know all that stuff. So let's talk about it. Also, quick note, we do have an all-day webinar coming up October 30th in just a few short weeks. Hopefully this market continues so we have a freaking jam-packed day. But keep an eye out on our socials. I'll be able to get a link here for you guys soon. Just want to let you know, mark that on your calendar, October 30th. Day before Halloween. We're going to be live all day long. Same as last time for very, very, very affordable. Just sit in here, ask questions all day, and have a wonderful time. All right, Huddie. We probably should just get rocking and rolling right into it. You want to start with the biggest one and move down the list?
Yes, please.
Let's start with NIXX, NIX, if you will. Mr. Recruiter.com Group. This is exactly what we were talking about yesterday, actually. Me and Kyle were talking about how some ticker names, just the name of the company is so off from their ticker symbol that it's just kind of like doesn't work. But we had NIX, Recruiter.com Group. They're a staffing and employment services company with a 4.99 million float, so low, but not micro. Do they have news 2 hours ago, which is the only news I see on their history, that they did a shareholder update for strategic focus and acquisition progress. Okay. 9.8 months of cash left. What do you see in the dilution world? Some older warrants.
Not much.
A lot of older stuff.
I
got some April 24.
We got a small amount of warrants there at $5.70. Not too many. Given the volume that's trading, I think they could execute those pretty quickly if they haven't already. And a shelf from about 2 years ago. It really hasn't been all that of an active stock.
It is not. As I go further back on the data chart, it has really just been top left to bottom right, with just a few little moments in the sun where it has popped up on radar. Those appear to be gap and craps. Even as recently as October 1st. Very, very light volume, not even a million shares. Did run from the 2s to the 5s, and then has been sitting in this 2 range, 2 to 250 range all year. Really, the stock has done nothing. It goes sideways every day. And this morning we're getting met with this pretty significant gap up. So let's see, did it? Nope, it's all from this morning. Kind of a weird runner, has kind of made new highs, made new lows, consolidated, ran all the way up towards 12. Right now, sitting in the 8s, having a good time, relaxing. What are your first thoughts here as this is up 250%? It's so funny how we go from nothing and slow to fast and aggressive. But we got a 250% gapper, and it's not even crazy because of what we've seen the last few days.
So my thoughts?
That's what I'm asking.
Am I bearish or bullish?
Any thoughts you have? I'm the only person in here who's allowed to say, Huddie, thoughts? And you have to give it to me.
Right. My thoughts are, hey, we got a market. That's really exciting, guys. It was pretty barren there for 3 weeks, and I was falling asleep at market open, and then all of a sudden we had drug, and now we have a market full of movers and full of ways to get intoxicated, and fall into traps. And this is what you guys wanted, though. This is what we wanted. This is the action. So those are my thoughts. As for what to do about all these thoughts, again, my whole thing is like, this is all sympathetic to DRUG. I don't think there's really a real catalyst here. So I think most of these kind of fade back. Now, the gaps aren't nearly as extreme as they were yesterday. So maybe some more volatility than what we experienced. And then I expect, for the rest of the week for the gappers to get weaker and weaker and weaker. So this is day 2. We have more gappers, but less percentage. And I'm sure day 3, my next thought would be that day 3 would have less gappers, less percentage, and so on and so forth.
When you run into these time frames, when we have a big runner, 1,000% plus, and we get a bunch of 300, 500, 600% runners, is it less about trying to look into each individual one of these gappers when you have 4 or 5 over a 2-3 day stretch and figure out all the intricacies, which one's going to be the best? Is it more of the shotgun approach of there's just more out here right now and the odds that they all hold up and squeeze are low, so I'm just going to play them the way my system says, and I'm not going to dive too deep into each individual one because that there's sympathies?
Yeah, I think it's really to each their own. I think you can find you can either do the thing where you spread the love and play the numbers game and say, hey, maybe 1 out of these 5 hold up, but I think predominantly like they're all going to fail. And so as long as you have a nice mathematical equation in terms of like stop loss relative to expected gain, I think you can get away with just playing whack-a-mole with all of them to the short side. But at the same time, like that person that does know how to narrow their focus into maybe the worst of the worst with the most amount of liquidity, like maybe there's more ways to make money when your focus is on one than of all 5. Maybe one presents a better risk reward, maybe one is more dilutive, maybe one is more extended, maybe one has a better market cap, maybe the catalyst is less severe, right? Like there's a number of ways to identify which one you think might not squeeze, but that's the other problem. Like the more bearish I make an argument, I feel like the more it can squeeze, because if everyone thinks the same thing, it's bad. So, there's so many different sides, right, to this whole thing. Like if I choose the game where I independently single out one to attack and try to like make my little whatever for the whole day, what if it's the wrong one? And I spent the day fighting the 1 out of 5 that's going to squeeze us, right? Like I'm going to be so annoyed. And if it's the best one on paper, that probably means it's the best one to squeeze. So it's catch-22. It's to each their own. I don't think there's one right way or wrong way. There's a way that I do it, and there's a way that you should do it. And those 2 ways don't have to match.
Awesome. Well said. Love your thoughts this morning. Let's keep
I'm
them
in New York.
rolling. Let's keep them rocking and rolling. In the last minutes, staff has been fighting back and forth with Nix to try to become the biggest gapper of the day. So we'll talk about that one. Make sure, like I said, you hit that thumbs up button. We got a crazy market right now. Let's get it up to 50 likes. Come on, over 100 of you in here. Let's get it to 50 likes. STAF, staff. Staffing 360 Solutions. Here we go. Here's a micro float for you. 850K float. Do they have news? No, they don't. They've recently done a reverse stock split, though, back here a few months ago. 1 for 10. That was effective in June. Awesome. Fantastic. Amazing. Let's rapid fire through the dilution here. Jim, what do we got? 9.9 months of cash?
Is that what it says?
Yep. Offering ability says low, but you tell me if that's true.
I think this company is historically a dog. Has been a low float for the longest time that I've ever been able to remember this thing has existed. So that means I think they've done a series of reverse splits and doing that pump and dump scheme where they reverse split, they get their stock, they put a PR out, they get their stock price up, they dilute it. I don't know when their last reverse split was. I don't know like how much they're in that cycle right now. But obviously taking advantage of whatever momentum is here and trying to get their stock price up for something. So they have some offerings that have already been priced, some warrants that are not registered. Yeah, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Again, nothing here is like screaming at me that like this is like horrible. I just kind of know stuff and know that they don't really stay up for that long. It could be a day. But I really just think this is a classic example of like small cap just getting in on the action. Like this is your next this is your next ATNF that just doesn't have the ATNF power, in my opinion.
Taking a look at the daily chart for Staffing 360 Solutions. They haven't really done a lot of shenanigans in the last few years. It's been relatively volumeless and runless and bounceless, and we found ourselves sitting down here in the ones, just holding a dollar on for dear life. We have a decent volume day a couple months ago where it did 77 million, where it gapped up into the $3 area and ran to the fours before kind of being sideways and then fading off to where we are now. So this gap right now already on a little bit less volume here, 13 million today. You got this kind of 460s area as resistance that it has been over today and under today. So we'll see if it can find a way to hold that. But it is already up 200%, even way off its highs. It was as high as the sevens in pre-market before 7 a.m. But kind of just holding up near its low, putting some sort of consolidation pattern in. I don't really have any extra thoughts on here. I think 460 is your level. I think for holding above that, there's some squeeze potential. Reminder, it is an 850K float. So be safe, be smart, understand where you're sizing off of if you're long, if you're short. Probably halt potential here as well. So one to think about whenever you kind of trade these micro floats. Just be a little bit smarter, a little bit aware of your risk management profile and your strategy beforehand. But right now, it looks like it's pretty weak. It's way off its highs, and kind of like you said, as we go more down the sympathy road, we run into more. The stocks have less ability to hold up. There's not that extra shorts. People are less likely to get squeezed in pre-market. They're more likely to sit back and wait for hard cracks instead of chasing strength. And maybe we just get less strength, and the moves become a little bit more one and done. You saw it yesterday with VSME and after hours, like 3 to 9 to 2. Relatively quickly. But this is one of the biggest gappers of the day, up 200%, low float, anything can happen. Pretty much for all of these, I am just in the boat of sit back, wait, give them at least 20 minutes before I make any decisions. Most likely not buying any of them, just because as we go deeper into this hole of sympathies, I want less and less to do with them on the long side. I think the more sketchy companies are going to rise to the surface, and I want to wait for daily chart patterns. So from the short side is where I think the edge is on most of these. It's just about being safe, being smart. Even though ATNF, VS, I think VS, squeezed out a lot yesterday, there were still opportunities on the short side if you didn't shoot yourself in the foot right out of the gate. So that's STAF. The next biggest gapper of the day is Pixie, one that we have talked about, heard about, traded in the past. You want to talk about a low float? Let's talk about this one. Shift Pixie, which is rocking and repping, a 290,000 float. I can't tell you. I don't know if we've seen a smaller one than that, Huddie, but that is low. It is low and slow and could be moving fast. They are a staffing and employment services company, so that's actually just like the first one we saw, Nix, right? The same industry. Did they have news? 1 hour ago, they announced the acquisition of TurboScale. They did a reverse split recently.
You would think STAF was a staffing and servicing company as well.
But it's not.
It's not.
Funny, huh?
It has a name.
Classic mix-up on aisle 3. Talk to me. This news, I don't really care too much about it. Think about it's a low float running in a low float market.
Yeah.
Negative 2.6 months of cash. Yep.
Same as staff.
Same as staff. Maybe just a touch scarier.
Not really.
Huh?
Equally as scary.
What'd you say?
Equally as scary.
290K float at $14.
This is like the reason I say it's equally is because I don't really believe it's float. I mean,
so now you're questioning the integrity of the company.
I'm questioning integrities here.
Okay.
On staff and Pixie, because I just know them so well, and I've seen them kind of reverse split and pump so many times that I just don't believe their floats are quite that low. I mean, I guess they could be, but I think if they are that low, it's for goddamn good reason. I think they've just done so much dilution that they probably can't dilute, and therefore they can't get their shares outstanding to increase. Therefore, the market value stays really low, and the stock price continues to go down. I think they're low market caps for a reason, right? I think they're really horrible companies. And again, the more you build the short case against a company, the worst companies are going to squeeze because that's where the shorts are going to flock. So I think they're both pretty bad companies. I think they're both pretty bad floats. I think they're both going to do what low floats do. I think they're equal.
Shorts will flock and stocks will soar. Right?
I like that song.
Yeah. As we go down the list, you guys, you see we get less and less interested in diving deep just because this is a grouping. This isn't like we have one off 200% runner on a random Thursday, and we really want to dive into what this stock does every time it runs and the history of it. And we're dealing with such crappy companies, like Heidi said. Like if I go back a year, like the highs are in the 500s. Like it ain't a $500 stock. Like, they have done reverse split after reverse split, some sort of dilution after dilution, to get to this point. And it's kind of like when you watch, if you're in Clover and you see a lot of these swings that Kyle puts on these really toxic companies, they have the same daily charts, and it's going to happen again. And this won't be $14 for long; it'll be $1 in the next 6 months, and they'll do it all over again. So long-term perspective is that these are crap. They're running because of crap, and my perspective is like there's really no skill today for me. I don't have the skill to predict which ones will run, which ones won't, at least until more action has happened in the morning. But right out of the gate, I think it's a crapshoot as to what most of these do. I think some will die right out of the gate, halt down 3 times. I think you saw that with a couple of them yesterday. Some 1 or 2 will squeeze out and maybe still fade, or maybe one golden goose holds up into the afternoon. But to pick which one that is, I'm not sure. So we're just going to provide you with all the biggest gappers and let you make those decisions. But I am primarily bearish on all of them. Will I trade them all? Probably not. Will Huddie trade them? Probably so. I don't know if you trade 290K floats though.
I will do something with most of them.
Yeah, so busy day for Huddie. Probably busy day for a lot of you guys out there. But it is really the same overarching theme with all of them. Like each one is different. They have a different flow, different share structure, different crap news, but they really are all the same thing. The reason that they're running is because of momentum, because of human psychology, and you're able to see it live on the screen right now. Next biggest gapper of the day, Bria. One that I feel like we have heard from before.
This one always gaps with the sector, apparently.
What's the sector? Low float?
Well, I remember shorting this one in February when we had the China stocks that were gapping up kind of crazy. This was one that, I don't know. Again, same scenario back in February where you had a bunch of momentum, and this one was just gapping up all of a sudden from 1 to almost 3, and faded off all day, and then tried it again like 2 weeks later and faded off all day. And here we have another sector and some more momentum, and this one's gapping up again. A little bit less this time. Last 2 times it opened up towards 240, and this time it tapped 240 in the pre, and now it's all the way back down to 140. So I'm less interested in this one relative to the other ones because I don't like this price range of where it is. And I also don't like the way that it's opening week like this, but that could just mean it goes lower. Could mean it traps, but this is just, yeah, we talked about this one before.
Yeah, it's almost like resistance matters, right?
A little bit.
You see this wick this morning right into all these tops where this beautiful kind of head and shoulders in terms of resistance. You got this guy, a little higher guy in the middle, pretty much the other shoulder over here. And then we've been down at the 50-cent range for a while, gap up this morning, still up over 100%. What's kind of cool about a lot of these is that there's a lot of them are way off their highs and still up triple digits. So I tend to agree. I like this one more in terms of structure, whereas the float's not quite as small as the others, being 4.76 million. There is no news on this one either today. It's just kind of being bought up to be bought up. But I like the $250 to $293 area as resistance. Any strong spikes and fails into that area, I probably am more likely to take a trade versus the others, just in terms of safety and structure on the chart and just proven ability to fail in that area. But down at 142, not something I'm super interested in, and definitely not interested on the long side because of that aforementioned resistance. That's Brea. Brera. How would you say their name? Brera. Brera.
It's Brea. It's Brea.
But you think
French,
the R is silent?
It's La Brea.
I don't think you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at.
I'm just telling you what it is.
Oh, let's check in with the chat real quick. 4 more likes gets us to 50. Not sure what's going on, you guys, but can 4 of you volunteers tribute? Pop in there.
Pew, pew, pew. Is anyone talking about the TVGN third day surge by chance?
Someone said TVGM breakout.
Oh.
P Daddy Slim says, do you guys think it's odd how many runners we've had this year with very little solid multi-day breakouts? Used to be my go-to pattern, but I pretty much hate them now.
Hmm.
Is it odd? I don't think it's
Is it
odd.
factual? I'd like to ask you, how many multi-day breakouts have there been this year? Like, do you even know?
I could come up with it. It depends, high quality or low quality.
I mean,
If volume is the number one indicator, yeah, but it's never been that way unless you're talking 2020 and 2021 or what do you call it? OTC periods.
I don't think
Like
it's ever really been raining breakouts.
no, you might get like a 3 day stretch where you have three of them, like good quality ones, but then it's a month until you get that again. It has always been a quality type of play. The best ones
You
are the
have
with
one
the
going on right now.
yeah.
There's literally a breakout happening right now. Like, I wonder if there is.
DJT just broke out and ran. Whether or not you played it, like if you didn't love the daily chart, it still is a multi-day breakout. We've definitely seen our fair share. There was a stretch of 3 day breakouts for like a month.
PVGN is a 3-day breakout right now.
Serve was a great breakout. TVGN is one. PHUN is setting up for one. I mean, they're there. They're around. They're alive. You just got to be picky and choosy. It's not like your gap and craps. It's never going to show up as much and as often as those. And the reason gap and crap is a pattern, like the reason it's not odd, is because most of them aren't going to hold up and go on runs that hold up long enough for you to get to the breakout stage. The reason I like first green days, first red days, and breakouts is because stocks have to hold up long enough and be in play long enough, and then you get that added edge of extension. And if something gap and craps or runs for a bit and then fades all day, it's a 1 day play and it's not going to be in play 2 or 3 days down the road. I like looking at those stocks that have lifespans of a week or two, the monkeypox stocks, the VRAXs, GovXs, APDNs, where you're playing them every couple days for a different pattern. You don't get that all the time. We might get that on something like drug, or maybe it fades off, but it's always about waiting, sitting back, and which ones do hold up, and that should make your job easier. If you're someone who's waiting for first red days, waiting for breakouts, waiting for first green days, stock got to do something to get me interested. That's why avoiding day ones has always been in my best interest. I love it when Dom goes into song. Thank you. I love going into song. It means I'm having a happy day. Having a happy day. Daniel says, could this be a sector, staff, Nix, Pixie, all staffing companies? It just might be. It just might be.
No.
Classic mix up on aisle 3. Yeah, well, you guys are doing great today. 60 likes. Just want to let you guys know, anyone who came in late, we do have an all-day webinar scheduled for October 30th. I know most of you won't even sign up for that until the day before anyway, but just letting you know, be aware of it. Hopefully the market is as spicy as it is right now. It'll be in the $50, $60 range, I believe was last time, Huddie, right? And you get to spend like 8 to 9 hours with us, so it'll be a great time. Emilio says, Dom, are you interested in Geo dip near the 280 level for a dip buy for continuation of the breakout? You probably mean Givo? Answer is no. Answer is no. I don't know where you got 280. The breakout is down at like 210, unfortunately. But yeah, this is one of those where it's kind of like Lunary, or they probably had news, but you just kind of had to be there. And when I'm looking at this daily chart, you're like, there were plenty of times to be there and then to not be there because it just didn't work and didn't go. It just kind of uptrended. If you're a swinger, it probably a stock swinger, no pineapples here, then it probably got rewarded. But I would have been happy with 350. You're talking about a stock that did more range in that gap and after hours than it did in this 4-day or 5-day run from 70 cents to $1.80. So no interest there for me. It's one of those where I write off and say, congrats, stock, you did it without me. The sign-up link for the all-day webinar will be coming at you soon. I'll have it in the description here, hopefully by next week. So I want to let you guys be aware. Put it on your calendars. Keep an eye out on our socials as well. You'll probably be able to find a link there. I'll let management know. They need to get up to speed on that stuff. Come on, guys. Snap, snap. All right. 9:19. I think we ran through a lot, Huddie. What's kind of your MO? What's the... I'm not going to say words of wisdom because you seem to never have any wisdom. When I ask for it, you have wisdom, but it's more
don't get mean.
It's more like, that was wise, but I didn't ask him for it. So I'm not going to ask you for it. I'm just going to say, what's kind of your imparting words for the day based off what we've seen this week, based off the stocks that are out there. We got to have 20 stocks on watch right now. Wait, Clover Trading does have a link. We'll hit that in a second. What are your thoughts? We got 4, 5, 6 gappers. We got stocks from yesterday, stocks from Tuesday. How do you focus? How do these people focus, Huddie?
Oh, those are so many different questions at once.
Give me 30 seconds.
Okay, for focus, I would call a general practitioner and buy maybe you could get a drug called Adderall that could help.
Don't do it.
But call your doctor first. I'm not a doctor, but that I do hear that helps with focus. Words of wiseness, is that the other one that you wanted?
Something, yeah. Imparting words.
Imparting words. All right. Well, let's milk this for a while it's here because it ain't gonna be here for very long, in my opinion.
You
You've
never
already
know. We're
had
going
kind
into
of,
the fall, going into November. Could go
yeah,
longer.
but I don't think this will be here. I think other versions of this will be here, but this will go away. So let's keep an eye on the first runners that started everything. Right, your big runners from Monday should be in consolidation patterns and phases. I'm not going to go read them off to you, but I'm sure you should have a watch list built from this week. So keep tabs on those Monday tickers to see if they're going to come back or start to break down. They're probably still extended and in a place where shorts can get squeezed and longs can get bagged. So maybe some opportunity. Also, keep a Rolodex of the sympathy plays that came up. Maybe there's first green days that are um, billowing. It's not my pattern. I would never play one necessarily, but it's going to be there. And then you have these stickers today. So just kind of take them day by day, make a list, add them all to the list, and wait for your pattern to show up. And I would say like I enjoy taking losses in times of sector momentum. So if my pattern does present itself, I do take risk. Um, Nothing's guaranteed. Most likely probably a loss, but we got to take it. So I got to take it at least. So that's what I'm doing, making a watch list, sitting tight, waiting for my patterns, hitting them when they're there, milking this for what it is. And hoping that it blesses us with a nice little profit curve at the end of all this week.
Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Link will be coming at you in the description soon. It is in the comment section right now. It's also on the website, clovertrade.io. Get yourself signed up for the all-day webinar on October 30th. While you're there, hey, peep around. Look at some of the products we have to offer. You got Kyle's tracking DVD. You have all of Tim Grattani's stuff, as well as 3 and 4 leaf clover. If you want to get going these last 3 months at the end of the year, hopefully the market is picking up and you want to upgrade your education, we're here. We'll be here. Check out 3 leaf and 4 leaf clover if you want to, basically unlimited access to us all the time and join a phenomenal, great, amazing community with some amazing traders in it. Check us out. Check us out. We'll be there. But if not, if all you want is this fun session every morning, we will be live tomorrow morning, 8:45 a.m. for another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. We will see you then. Have a wonderful